Hey, how's it going? Welcome to What is Fabrizio Inking. Today I'm going to be doing page 9 of Horace H. Hoover. So I've just sort of gotten into the inking phase. So I am just taking it page by page from page 1 on. So you're going to get a bit of a spoiler if you watch all of these. But, I won't go into detail too much on how that works. Alrighty. Hey, Kibo, how's it going? A Monday night special. Yeah, this was very impromptu. But I figured, why not? I never do this, So, why not? So this is page 9, like I said, and I just wanted to show the pencils first because the blue lines are pretty hard to see. So I just wanted to at least show what I'm going to be working on. We have Horace popping out, we have the book bug, we have Horace taking off with the loquat in the back, and then the book bug and the loquat sort of hanging out. So once I get these on blue line, it's just a lot harder to see. So whenever I start a brand new page to ink, I'm left-handed. I know, evil. I'm an evil left-handed person. And honestly, that is just because of notebooks and scissors. I think we get a bad rap. Kibo, I'm just glad I have the chance to pop in tonight. Been pretty busy again the last couple of weeks. Yeah, that's... Weekdays are definitely different, and maybe I'll try to do more of these as I go, just because I have, 30 pages to do, so I have a lot of pages to do. Might as well stream as much as I can from them. So since I'm left-handed, I just start top right, and now I can't do an entire panel at once because you gotta wait for ink to dry, but just kind of do as much as you can in the panel, kind of jump around, which is essentially the chorus of 15 songs from the 90s. And yet again, more books. More books. This was something that I did not think I would draw that many times. But if the story needs it, you have to do it. And I know what will happen is I will draw all these books for these issues. I'll be thankful when that's done. And then I'll forget about it. And in a couple issues, I'll be like, oh man, I should bring the book bug back. And, we'll do this and we'll do that. And then I'll remember why the book bug was so hard. Admittedly, drawing books compared to other things isn't the worst thing. They're just little rectangles, but they all need a little bit of individuality to them. If not, they will literally look just like rectangles and not actual objects. So you have to make sure that you're inking or drawing pages for some of them, spines, sometimes writing. So, anyway. The sinister side. I don't begrudge or envy, but I do sympathize. I'm an ambidextrous freak. It's funny. I'm not ambidextrous, but this is how I explain it. I draw with my left hand, but I I do everything else with my right. Like I stab with my right, punch with my right, I open jars with my right. Yeah, so I play guitar right-handed, shoot right-handed. So really the only thing I do left-handed is draw, which is kind of weird, I think. My brother's like that too. He's left-handed, but I think the only thing he does left-handed is right is right. Now, admittedly, that's probably due to not having access to things. Like, if I had wanted to play a left-handed guitar, I would have been out of luck because I couldn't have gotten one. John's Longbox, how's it going? I know, like, I was just thinking, I'm streaming on a weekday. Like, I'm going to be stepping on a lot of toes. Not that people will be jumping ship to come watch me ink, but so many people stream during the weekday. That's an interesting limited selective ambidexterity. Can be conditioned. See Catholic schools pre-1990. Yeah, that's definitely me. I think the biggest problem is if I stream a lot more often, I don't know what the heck I'm going to talk about while I sit here and ink. Usually, like once a week, I have something. I'm reading this, or I'm doing that, or I have something to say. But from yesterday to today, not much has happened. I did, not comics related, I did just buy a very old role-playing game, like supplement. The role-playing game is Masterbook. It's from like 1994, 1995 or something. So I've never been good enough to like DM or GM or anything like that. But in the 90s, West End Games made this Masterbook series, and they did Necroscope, which I was a huge fan of the book, still am. So I'm like, I'm going to buy this role-playing game because it has like the Necroscope world in it. I bought it in college, which was difficult enough as it was, just because when I was in college, some people complained about not having money. I mean, I really had no money. I think I even had to borrow it to buy this role-playing game. But anyway, I've been feeling very nostalgic about this game. And I was looking on eBay, and they had Indiana Jones source book for it as well. Like, I'll pick that up, kind of page through it just for fun. There's really no chance of me playing it. I sold blood and plasma in college. Are those people? Did you sell people? Are those nicknames you had? I never got around to that. It's funny because, I went to college in Edinburgh. We didn't have a car. It was like there was one diner, one coffee shop, one record store. There was so few things to do. Which is good and bad, I guess. I didn't have money to do anything. But there was a comic book shop like a half hour away. And actually that was the first comic book shop I'd ever been to because my hometown didn't have a comic book shop. We had a newsstand. Tiny little town. So this was the first like real comic book shop that I actually had access to. And unfortunately I didn't have any money. So I would go, we might get there once every couple of months. We'd bum a ride from somebody. Kind of take a poke around, look at everything. Scrounge together like a little bit of money once in a while and buy something. But man, that was rare. Trying to think of the name of it. It's in Erie. Totally blanking on the name of it. We just visited there a couple months ago. The comic book shop is still there. Darn it, I can't think of the name. All right, so I think that's enough for this panel. I have like the main forms down, face, all of that. So I'll go back in. I'll do some textures in the books, writing. I'll do some weathering and aging and more detailed stuff. So again, if you can, like I just start from the top right and move down. But sometimes you have to jump around. John, I just ate the crunchiest egg roll. It was cold leftovers, but it was great. I wish I had more. I don't know if I could do that. Yeah, I had, well, this is going to sound really boring, but, broiled chicken breast is what I had. And that's what I eat most days, actually. Some version of broiled chicken breast. I know, it sounds delicious. It's funny because a while ago, I used to have a lot of visitors come and hang out, have dinner, all that kind of stuff. It happens much less than it used to. Friends moved away, etc., etc. But that was always an excuse to have, like, to really do like a nice dinner, or do something we haven't made before. But now it's just, I refer to it as sustenance, and that's really all it is. That is a very small book bug here. And this is 11 by 17. This thing is going to be absolutely tiny whenever it's on a regular comic book page. So for me, I just think more in terms of silhouette. If you can get like a decent silhouette, it'll still read, but I'm not going to go in and start detailing a bunch of stuff. It just doesn't make any sense, and it'll look confusing, kind of stuff I talked about yesterday. Kibo, oh man, talking about food makes me realize that I haven't eaten today. I wish I could forget about food that long. Hey, DC Miller, how's it going? John's Longbox. I eat like a child with access to money, like an adult. DC Miller, I can't imagine having friends. I used to. I used to have friends that would come over and share in conversation. And then the conversations took a turn. People didn't like what I was saying, and one by one, they disappeared. So, it happens. Yeah, you know what's funny about, like, John, you're talking about eating like a child with money. There are times where I get on these kicks for like junk food, because when I was growing up, I didn't have access to a lot of junk food. It was a lot of cooked food. It was, whatever. But, McDonald's, I don't know, a few times, maybe once a year, tops. So I would see all that like junk food and I would just crave it. And then out of college, got my first real job. And I did kind of splurge. I'm like, oh, what are these? Oh man, what are they called? The Pepperidge Farm cakes. They always looked like the fanciest, most delicious cakes in the grocery store. And I'm like, someday I'm going to be able to buy a Pepperidge Farm cake. And I'll know I've made it at that point. And I bought a Pepperidge Farm cake. And it was the like German chocolate cake, coconut, something like that. It really did not live up to the expectations of 20 years of me just salivating over it in the grocery store. Some things do hold up. Toaster strudels. I know I'm talking about food a lot. Sorry, Kibo. Toaster strudels, I'm convinced, are a sublime food. Nobody can convince me otherwise. That's like my last meal involves toaster strudels, for sure. Not actual, like, handmade German strudels, but toaster strudels. So I'm going to actually draw most of these books, which kind of sucks. But is this one of those times where it's actually kind of hard to get away with not drawing most of the books? What I'll probably do is draw them all out and then put a fair amount of them in shadow. That way you kind of like pop some forward, push some into the background. You were all my friends, John's Longbox. We are. I've met a lot of awesome people via comics. That's really been the coolest thing since I don't know, like 2019, 2020, something like that. Yeah. A lot of talented people. Which is convenient whenever like people that you like are also talented, so you can respect their work as well. That's a lot of it's fun. DC Miller, friends are just enemies you haven't made yet. There's something to that. Come to New York and let's go to White Castle. I've never had White Castle. Again, I only know White Castle from the Beastie Boys, so I don't really know much about it. They're supposed to be bad, right? Like cheap, gross burgers? Are they like boiled or something? No, that's not right. Something, they cook them differently, right? I feel it's like boiled or baked or something. Cheap, gross burgers, and they are delicious. Yeah. I mean, there's something to that. You East Coast people have the best regional fast foods. I fear I'll go my life without White Castle. Steam. Yeah, that's right. Steam them. That sounds disgusting, I have to admit. A steamed burger. Steamed clams. If anybody knows that Simpsons reference. Yeah, East Coast. I mean, the only thing I know on the West Coast, everybody always talks about In-N-Out burgers. And I was in San Francisco. No, I was in LA for work. And I remember everybody was raving about In-N-Out. It's like, all right, let's stop. And I'm like, okay, I'm actually going to get a burger and fries, which, again, it's not something I do often, but I'm out here, everybody loves them, I'll check them out. So I ordered them, we got them, and we were going to bring them back to the hotel to eat them. And from the not drive-through, but from the parking lot and In-N-Out until the parking lot in the hotel, I had decided against it. And I just threw mine away. Like, I think if you're going to cheat on your diet or whatever you want to call it, it's got to be fast. You can't have time to, think it over. And it was a good, 15, 20 minutes or something like that. So that was my one time that I almost bought In-N-Out burgers. I had been back since, but I never got them. Those White Castle rat burgers are perfect when you're drunk. Yep, I used to just end up at White Castle after a half case of beer. Jeez. That does... I don't know. I guess that's the only way you can eat a steamed burger, if you've had a half a case of beer. In-N-Out is okay, not great. Yeah, I mean, they looked good. They smelled good, but like I said, by the time we got to the hotel, I was like, nah. I used to travel a fair amount for work, and kind of had this rule where, if I'm gone for like a week or something, I really wouldn't eat out. I mean, you have to eat out to some degree, but it wouldn't be anything extravagant or fast food or basically anything good tasting. I would do it like one time, and it would be like the last day or close to the last day, because I just had this nightmare of, you get to a new city, you got a lot of work to do for the next 4 or 5 days, and you go to the local whatever bar, restaurant, and you get sick, and then you're just stuck there. So that was a rule I had that served me pretty well. But I would eat nothing good tasting. The thing is, I'm in some really nice cities with great food, and I'm like, you know what? The moment I go to some local place, I'm gonna regret it. I should have started on his right side, but I didn't. I don't know if you can tell that I'm really not following the blue line all that much. It's close, it's rough, but it's really not slavishly repeating every line or anything like that. It's definitely just a guide. Oh, are you... John, are you one of those freaks with self-discipline? I mean, I try. I'll be honest, I try. I fail often, but like I work in an office and there's donuts every Monday, and there's a snack bar that is filled with just candy and snacks, and it's free all day, every day. Which, if you don't have any willpower, then you're gonna be 5 Snickers deep before things set in that you just ate 2,000 calories. So this is page 9. Like I said, I have, is this page 9? Yeah, no, page 8. Now I'm blanking. It's either 8 or 9. The full comic is 38 pages for issue number 4, which is, it's a lot. So, you know, I have 30 more pages to do. I have to white out the bottom. Those 2 strokes are too close together, and it just ended up turning completely black. My inking style, like I've thought about having somebody color my book. Now that I have, 3 issues, and this will be 4 issues, people have something to go on. And I feel like it should be pretty easy. I have all the palettes set, for all the characters. But I think the hardest thing really is I do a lot of lost edges, so I don't always close everything. And again, I talked a little bit about that before, but I do it a lot. So whenever you're trying to do selections for coloring, it's a fair amount of work. Whereas more cartoony or even finished, not even say cartoony, styles, it's a lot easier to do those selections. I don't know, maybe issue 5 I can find somebody to help color. That would help out a lot. I actually just finished the thumbnails for issue 5, so I'm kind of working on both issues at the same time. that wasn't the plan per se, but I figure why not. I just sent DC Miller the script for Bikini Girl, the Bride of Japanistine. Oh, that's right. You sent me that in the email. I saw that pop up. I haven't had a chance to check it out. Yeah, I'm excited about that. I know DC Miller's style will be perfect for that. Yeah, John from John's Long Box has a bunch of stories, different stories too, out, that's exciting. Man, I wish I could get more stuff out quicker. You just get a momentum going, and that's pretty cool. Yeah, I have. So not only do I have to finish issue 4 and 5, I recently took on a project where I'm going to be doing 15 watercolor paintings. So that's going to be difficult. I have to do it over the next couple of months, so that's going to really dig into my Horace H. Hoover time. But I'll still keep plugging away on this, but I'm going to be doing watercolor paintings. They're small, and I'm going to do like loose paintings with a little bit of like pen and ink over. I might do those live too. I don't know. I don't know how many people want to see me doing sort of watercolor landscape stuff, but I could just tape it and upload it as a pre-recorded video. All right, so I feel like I got enough done for that guy. It's a great dopey script. I might know of some fairly close to you. If you're interested in colors, I'll message you later with info. Yeah, for sure. I've been going back and forth on this issue, but I would love it if, at minimum, issue 5, somebody could help color that. It's raunchy, yet tacky. That's a tagline. I like it. Does Bikini Girl fight like Thong Man? Or, I'll just stop there. Yeah, this year is very much about finishing projects. I sell resin models, which I had sculpted, some I created, some other stuff was produced by another company. But anyway, I designed and sculpted them all. And I've been selling them for a couple of years now. And if I can't get rid of the inventory I have by the end of this year, I don't know. I'm gonna dump them because I need to switch focus. It would appear that people don't like resin models or garage kits that they have to put together anymore. It used to be a fairly large market. Now basically people want already assembled, already painted stuff, which I understand. But whenever I got into it, I'm like, oh, people love garage kits. They, whether it's Robotech or whatever, old horror stuff, but no, it's actually not as much as I thought. So I have these, well, I'll just say it, beautifully produced models, and I can't seem to get people to buy them. Anyway, what was the point of me saying that? Oh, right. So by the end of the year, that'll be done. I gotta X that off the list and just move on to just doing comics and painting, and that's my only hobby. And bookbinding. But the bookbinding will be secondary. That's going to be an actual hobby. I haven't had a hobby in a long time where you're not trying to sell anything. Because to me, a hobby is, whittling a bar of soap or something. You're not going to be selling that. You're not going to be getting a table at a local arts fair or anything like that. It's just pure enjoyment for what it is. So I've been looking at bookbinding for a couple of years now, and I really just want to do that as a hobby. DC Miller, do you recall what font size you use for your lettering? So I think it's like 6.5, maybe 7, but it depends because some of those are made with Affinity and some are made with Adobe. So I'd have to check to see. I think they're different. So I have to visually match them up. I'd offer to do some coloring for you for fun, but hard to plan ahead. If I can, I'd love to help. Yeah, for sure. Whenever that's ready, I'll put something out there, and if anybody's interested, it'd be fun to collaborate. I've yet to do that. Oh no, I hate assembling rigid minis. I know. Like I said, I don't know. It's like, does anybody assemble like model cars anymore? I don't think so. That used to be a big thing, but I just think there are certain hobbies that have their heyday for whatever reason, and then they just kind of go away. Hey Yang, how's it going? Evening special draw stream. Yeah, I have so much inking to do that I could do this every night, all night for the next 4 weeks. So I figured, why not? You bind your own books? That is so cool. Well, that's the goal. I thought it'd be cool to do, so I wish I was lying when I said this. I have thousands and thousands of loose sketches that are in drawers, basically. Thousands and thousands and thousands of them. So I usually throw away the ones I don't like. So if there's something on the page of like thumbnails or gestures, I hang on to the whole thing. And what I want to do is basically go through those and pick, 40, 50, and bind them into a book. So I don't have a sketchbook, but I would essentially bind all of my I would bind all of my sketches into a book. Just for me. I mean, I'm not going to sell this or anything. It's just a one-off thing for myself. But like I said, I have thousands and thousands in drawers. It would be really nice to be able to grab a whole bunch of those, bind it, and put it on a bookshelf instead of taking up very precious drawer space. I used to have a bunch of Robotech model kits. Yeah, I think people used to do that. That's what I was hoping for, but it turns out they don't like doing that. Have a good night, Kibo. Thanks for popping in. I appreciate it. My mother used to refinish chairs, like clean up the wood and reupholster them. That's another, like, fun hobby. Yeah. It's, like, really gratifying to take something like that, too. Take an old piece of furniture and refinish it. Yeah, I think, not to go on about the resin stuff, but companies like Sideshow and like all of the sort of big companies that do, they're not resin models, but they're essentially sculptures, like maquettes and stuff. They really skewed the market to like, okay, people just want the finished thing. But once upon a time, you didn't really have a choice. If you wanted Creature of the Black Lagoon, or is it Creature of the Blue Lagoon? Isn't that the one with Brooke Shields? There's got to be like a mashup, right? Of Creature of the Blue Lagoon. There's no way I'm the only person who just thought of that. But anyway. Yeah, if you wanted a classic Frankenstein resin model, you had to put it together yourself. This is going to be really in the weeds here for drawing, but like a dress pant leg, comes to sort of a natural point at the bottom and it kind of flaps, right? So, there's this like little piece of fabric that flaps back and forth. And I don't think anybody ever did as good of a job drawing that, because that takes into account physics, than Steve Ditko. I still marvel at some of the stuff that he did, because sometimes your body's moving one way and then this like flap is moving the other way. Maybe Gene Colan, I don't know, but I don't know. Steve Ditko, he just, I would see it, I'm like, no, that is right, darn it. So one of the things I plan on doing is between issues 4 and 5, I'm going to study that very, very specific thing and figure out how he, like what algorithm, so to speak, he uses to figure that out. Now for him, it's instinctual, for sure. But for me, I need to come up with like, okay, if the leg is bent forward and he's moving to the right, it kind of flaps to the left and it does this. Because it can turn into a complex shape, and I totally butchered it right here. But it just made me think of it, because Steve Ditko just did it effortlessly. Resin is too fragile. I bought a Harry Potter game with all resin models and they snap. Oh, really, really fragile. I can't believe they make games that have resin though. Yeah, those are things where you put it together, you put it on your shelf and you don't touch it because it will absolutely snap. DC, I'm one of the lazy ones who just wants the pre-made, pre-painted figures. I mean, I'm there with you. I was just looking for, I'm doing all these sculptures. They can either just live digitally for eternity, or, I can get resin models made and try to bring them to life. So that's what I did. It was fun, and I've sold some. It's not like I haven't sold any, but it's just taken a little too long for that. I made his head way too big. Not way too big, but definitely too big. So in the inking, you can just kind of shrink it down a bit. Yeah, speaking of like the pant leg issue, whatever we want to call it, I always have like little tasks in my head that kind of pile up as I do a book. And I'm like, oh man, I really could, I could do rocks better. I could really do trees better, whatever the case may be. And then as soon as I get a chance to, between books or whatever the case may be, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna deep dive into whatever topic it is. So something like this is gonna take me 3 to 4 hours. There's not a ton. Like, this is definitely the most complex. For sure. But there's enough where it's gonna take some time. DC, when do we meet Horace's wife? Ah, yes. I mean, we meet her via phone in issue 3, but we will actually meet her in person in issue 5. Which I'm excited about. It really, whenever you meet a character's wife or kids or something like that, it really fills in a lot, I think. Yeah, I think working on issue 5 at the same time is probably a good idea. It's the first time I've done that, really. But it keeps me excited to move forward. Because issue 5 has a lot of cool stuff that I want to get to, so... Yeah, so issue 5 is a one-off, so it's a self-contained story. So between the 5 issues, we have some short stories, we have a longer multi-issue arc, and then we have a self-contained story, which was the intent of this whole thing, the whole mini-series. I really wanted to explore multiple different storytelling techniques, approaches. So I stuck to my guns on that. We'll see. We'll see if people appreciate it or not. Hopefully. I mean, by now I think there's enough I've carved out enough a horse, his personality and the world, but I've also raised more than a few questions that hopefully people want answered. And I was watching a couple of old shows from the 90s, kind of in the background. And I was just thinking, I mean, it's inevitable. The first seasons just kind of suck. Even like really good shows, the first seasons, it's really about just getting their feet wet, understanding characters, and by the time the second season rolls around, things are popping. But that's not necessarily due to the writing. I mean, most of the time I think it's due to like the audience actually caring about the characters. Like if you jump in, throw your characters in peril, I don't think that works as well. So you have to do the drama outside the character first, see how they deal with it, and then once the readers have some sort of attachment to your character, then you throw them into peril. I want to meet Max's family. You know what? You'll meet some of Max's family in issue 5 too. It's funny you should mention that. Tonic Mole, how's it going? The party has arrived. Me. Yeah, I usually only do this for an hour, so we got 8 minutes. Once these 5 are done and you explore other things, you'll return for one-shots with them. Yeah, that's the goal. I'm just gonna keep doing one-shots, but I'll kind of bounce back and forth. The thing I think will work the best just for my schedule is one thing a year. So, however many pages I can do in a year, I'll do that. So I think it'll come to a new series, one shot, then back to Horus, one shot, and back and forth. And then we'll see. I hate to be that guy who's like, oh, there's a lot of stuff I want to do, but everybody wants to do a lot of stuff. Everybody does. But I really want to get into painting. I want to do some long form illustration, and so I don't know about that stuff or where I'll fit that in, but it could be the same thing where I'm like, you know what? It's 2027. I'm going to do a Christmas Carol illustrations, like a la Bernie Wrightson kind of stuff. And then the next year, it's, something else or whatever. So, I don't know. I know that I don't have the brain power to develop really complex personalities in advance. I have to tell stories and let the characters come to life for me. I totally agree with that. So one of the most influential people for me, in terms of storytelling, is David Mamet, and he really breaks that down where, he's referencing Aristotle, but man, that's pretentious. But basically, he says the character is action. And once he said that, I'm like, yeah, that's right. Character is literally action. You don't have to, like you said, come up with this extraordinarily complex, competing ideals and virtues and then throw them in a scenario. you really just, like you said, throw them in a scenario and see how they act, and that becomes their character. I love that idea. And that, I've read books and watched every tutorial on writing, but for some reason, the way David Mamet articulated it made perfect sense to me. That is why I didn't do the patriarch's origin in the first issue. Who cares? Now I think people care. Yeah, it's 100% true. I'm gonna go stream if you with a friend playing a game. Have fun. Thanks for joining, John. It's funny you say that, Tonic Mole, just because your characters feel so real to me. The dialogue, how they react in situations. I actually hate using the word real. I don't know if there's a better term, but everything is always relative to the world. So because I think realistic is kind of a dig. If somebody said Horace feels realistic, I'm like, does he? But relatively real in the world. Mamet is the best, most hated Hollywood writer. He is. I love him. He has a book. I won't say the name of it on stream, but he came out with a book. I think it was probably 2007, 2008. And he is it's a political book. It's a brilliant book. Highly recommend it. I knew he was smart, but after reading that book, he's just really an intellectual. In a way that I am not. Often my character becomes totally different than what I intended, right? Kara was supposed to be shy and awkward, but just wouldn't do it. As I wrote her, she became a smartass. What are you going to do? Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, and that makes it fun for the writer, for you. Like you said, I'm going to make him, I made Slurp as essentially just a Nosferatu cipher. Just because I wanted to draw a Nosferatu. But all of a sudden, his expressions and there's scenarios that pop up, and now Slurp really is kind of his own thing, and he's kind of funny, which I never intended him to be funny. That really was not I had never considered that. He was supposed to be kind of mysterious and kind of cool, and now he's, everybody's like, oh, he's hilarious. So now I see him as funny in certain scenarios that make me laugh. So, yeah, they just definitely take a life of their own. I love Tonic's dialogue. Yeah, it's really some of my favorite. Oh no, I think we have. That's my first spam. I've never gotten spam. Should I feel honored that I just got spam? I'm thinking no. How do I get rid of that damn thing? How does one get rid of spam? I don't want to show it. Huh. Alright, well, I'm going to have to learn that later. I'm only going to be streaming for a few more minutes here anyway. It says exultant piggyback. Yeah. Never had spam before. It does make me feel a little important. Nobody ever bothered to spam on Sunday. Oh, cool. Yeah, alright, it's about an hour. This one's gonna be a chunk of time. The easiest thing is just the books, so I'll just lay in a few lines at least. Alrighty. I should get going here. My brush is really fighting me. It starts to dry after a bit. And starts to get all gunked up. I will say this, the one thing, like, I penciled these pages quite some time ago. I waited till the very end. Yeah, I waited till the very end of the pencils to start inking, which means there's a good chunk of time between when I did these and when I saw them last. And sometimes when you're drawing, like, you have your own shorthand. Like, oh, I'm going to do this here, I'm going to do that there. But if it's been a really long time, you forget. And you're like, I don't know if that's supposed to be this, or is that his elbow, or is it like, is that supposed to be a shadow? That's unfortunate. So I'm going to have to mull some of this stuff over. Alrighty. I either do way too detailed pencils or vague scribbles. Yeah, I really have a problem doing like vague scribbles. I get lost too quickly. And I mess it up, and then I get very, very angry. One of these days, at least for horse, it doesn't really fit the vibe, so to speak. So I have to be detailed with horse, but for some stuff that I really want to work on that could be potentially a lot looser, it might be fun to do like real basic gesture drawings and then kind of refine over it. But we'll see. Do you color as you finish each page, or go as a whole big job at the end? So what I've done previously is, as I ink a page, I send it to a flatter so they can do all the selections, and then I color a little bit as I go, but usually it's at the very end. I have not been sending these to flatters just because I've been going back and forth on doing it myself. A flatter costs anywhere from 15 to 20 bucks a page, 38 pages, it's a chunk of money. So we'll see about that. But that final step is after that. Like, I do color and letter roughly at the same time, because I'm kind of going back and forth, refining some of the language and the dialogue. It all kind of comes together at the very end. That's why I always thought that collaboration for me is pretty difficult, because I'm really tweaking things until the very end. And people that do 100% of the books, like Tonic Mole and Brian and other people, like, you can tweak things. Having that freedom is kind of nice up until the very end. But anyway, yeah, thanks again, everybody. I appreciate it. This was a fun weekday stream. I'll probably be, like I said, inking or streaming a lot just because I have a lot of stuff to do. But I'll catch you later. Have a good one. Thanks.